everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus of Threshold of Hineni, and you don't need to pay attention to what I've got here. I'm just sorting through papers to have something to, so you can see something while I'm talking. This is part of my grief vlog, although what I'm going to be telling you today, part of it is kind of funny, and it's just kind of, it gives you an idea of some of what goes on when you are grieving and after you've lost somebody. So, you know, there's so many phone calls that you have to make and so many people that you have to contact. And, you know, credit card companies and other companies that you have accounts with. Like, we've got a phone up in at our house in the mountains, and I really need to cut down on expenses, and I don't need that phone there, so I decided I was going to have it turned off. And so I called the company to let them know. Well, of course, you know, this is in my husband's name, not mine, and which that's something that I would really recommend, that you guys, that you have both people's name on things. It makes it so much easier. But anyway, so this is just in my husband's name, and what I found is that when I call places and the account's just in my husband's name, they don't want to talk to me. So I have to say, before I say anything else, I have to explain that my husband was killed in a car crash a few weeks ago, and that I'm calling about his account. Well, then sometimes they're willing to talk to you right away if you have certain things like, you know, social security number, their middle name, you know, different things like that. Other times you have to send in a death certificate or a copy of a death certificate before you can actually talk to anybody. So anyway, so at this particular place, I called and I explained that he had died recently in a car crash, and the lady said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My wish is for his quick recovery." My mom and I looked at each other. I said, "What?" And she said, "Oh, I'm just wishing you a speedy recovery." And I was all, "He's deceased." And she kind of backpedaled a little bit. Anyway, she ended up transferring me to somebody else. But it was kind of funny. And you know, this kind of, I guess, shows that I'm doing a little bit better, because it was really hard for me to not say, when she said, "My wish is for a speedy recovery," I almost said, "Yeah, I wish that too." But, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So you get things like that. Mostly you get a lot of people who, you get some people who really are, you can tell that they're sincere when they say, "I'm sorry for your loss," or "my condolences," or whatever. You know, it's like nobody knows what to say. So they have these little programmed things that they say, which are fairly meaningless, but their heart is good, and you know that. But then there's other people who, you know, they just say it, oh, "I'm sorry for your loss," and then they go on with it, "and you owe us $1,500 or whatever," you know, and there's absolutely no sympathy there whatsoever. And I don't know, it's weird. I just kind of wanted to let you know that this is some of what happens. And, you know, if you work for one of these companies, maybe you can try to be considerate. One thing that I wish that they would do is come up with some kind of database that these companies can check to confirm that somebody has died. Because I'll tell you what, every time that I have to prove that my husband has died, it's like ripping out some of the healing that's gone on. And it's like, you know, I have to get another copy of, I have a bunch of the certified copies of the death certificate, but I need to make another copy of it. And just seeing it, you know, of course I burst into tears, you know, just, you know, all that stuff, because it's just in your face again. And there's just also something kind of demeaning about having to prove that your husband died. And I understand why they have to do that, because people might fake something like that to get out of something, you know, so I can understand that. But it's just, if there was some kind of database, you know, because it's like, I mean, the Social Security office obviously knows that he's deceased. They sent me a letter about that, you know, and the bank, when I called the bank to let them know that he had passed away, they said, "Oh, you don't need to call us. We get a list every day or every week or something." You know, so it's like, so there's somebody who sends out, some government person probably, who sends out, you know, a list of all the people who died or something. So it seems like there should be some way that companies could check a database rather than making one more stab at the person. And I know it's not intended that way, But, stop and think about how it feels when you've lost somebody really close to you and then you're told that you have to prove it. It's just, like I said, I understand that they need to protect themselves, but there should be ways that they could do that aren't so rude. Yeah, anyway, so that's just kind of like one of my pet peeves right now. Maybe I'm in kind of a bitchy mood, I don't know, but, there's stuff like that. And then just also, gosh, be sincere. There are people who, maybe they're not sincere, but they sure sound sincere. They just sound like, oh my goodness, how awful. And I'm sure that they deal with this a lot. So it would be very easy to become callous, but at least they act like they are sincerely sorry for you. And then there are just other people who just go, I'm sorry for your loss, and then they go right on to what you owe. And it's just like, seriously? You have no heart whatsoever. And it's crazy. It really, truly is. So, anyway, I don't know if I got on here to just moan and complain about it. What I wanted to do was just tell you that funny story, that she hoped that he would recover quickly. Oh my gosh, speedy recovery. Oh my goodness, that was so funny. But I think I just also kind of want to warn you, if you're going through stuff like this, or if you've never gone through stuff like this, let you know that this is what happens. You deal with a lot of calloused people, and one of the really, really hard things is that you have to deal so much with money. And it's like you just feel like, I just hate money right now. That's like the stupidest thing ever. And it's like, I could care less about money, except that I need it to live, and I'm going to have such a hard time surviving. And so it does become like this all-consuming thing. Not all-consuming, but it becomes a really major thing because you don't know how you're going to get by. And just the fact that you have to deal with all of that, and you have to deal with... there's a lot of companies that are afraid that because he died, that they're not going to get paid. And probably for good reason, because now I'm down to half an income. But it's like, there's absolutely no heart. Couldn't they wait for like a month or two before they have to like get all over you for it and stuff? It's like, I'm just not dealing with it. I've put stuff in a pile, and I've just said, okay, whatever. I'm going to deal with it in a couple months because I cannot deal with it right now. My mind is not stable enough to make decisions. And so it's like, you're just not going to push me into making decisions to suddenly pay you this much money when I have a very, very limited amount of money to live on. And there's just so much greed. Yeah, they want their money and they should have it. Yeah, of course. But give me some time to think about this. Give me some time to get to the place where I can figure things out instead of just jumping all over me when I can hardly even think, because I just lost the man that I loved more than life itself. And yeah, there's just, yeah. What can I say? There's just really rude people out there who have absolutely no heart. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them. To balance that out, there are really, really nice people too. I have been amazed at some of the people who have been, like my car insurance company. They're having to pay out a lot of money because of this. But they are kind to me. I've only dealt with one person that was kind of questionable. I would say questionable as far as kindness. She was a little rude. But other than that, it's like people have been so kind. They have gone so far out of their way, and I will call out their name, State Farm. I'm not getting any kickback or any benefits from saying this. They don't even know that I'm recommending them or anything, but I have just been super, super impressed. Everybody, all the way up the chain, has been so sincerely helpful, and that's been really nice. And the Tennessee Highway Patrol, oh my word, their troopers are amazing. They have been so wonderful through all of this, and so helpful and kind and considerate. And then there are, individuals here and there. And then, of course, individuals, my friends and people, friends of friends of friends of friends who don't have any connection to me at all, who have friended me specifically to tell me that they are praying for me. or have sent me notes saying that they're praying for me and stuff, or yeah, Sunday school classes of people that I don't even know. So it's like, so it's all balanced out. And for the most part, I would say, I have had my faith in humanity restored through this experience for the most part, because people have been very kind on the whole. So yeah. So anyway, so perspective there. Perspective. But anyway, I just thought it was funny, and it is good to laugh. And I'm sure that Bill, if he heard that lady saying that she wished for his speedy recovery, I'm sure that, first of all, I know he would have said dumber than mud, because that's what he always said. But then he probably would have just been laughing hilariously. So I think that it's fine for me to laugh too. It's good. It's good to laugh. It is good to laugh. And I think that's a good sign. I actually, maybe for a few days I didn't laugh at all, but I think that, I remember like when my parents got here, which I can't remember exactly when they got here, about a week after, I think, I was able to laugh some, and I think that that's really good. I think you need to laugh. It's like I was telling one person about what that lady said today, and her response was, I'm half mad and I half want to laugh. And I said, you know what? We need to laugh. So just laugh. And yeah, it was stupid, but I felt sorry for the lady too, because she was probably really embarrassed when she realized what she had said, and she'll probably be more careful in the future. So that's good. Because somebody else might be even a lot more offended than I was. I really wasn't offended. I was more like, oh my gosh, seriously, you're not even listening. So yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of some of the stuff that you deal with, and if anybody listening could possibly, if somebody here has some influence over, or some way of coming up with a database where they could list, the people who have passed away, so that widows don't have to come up with proof all the time. It's degrading for one thing, and it's just really hurtful. And it just seems like there should be able to be that kind of thing. That doesn't seem like that should be a far-fetched thing that should be available. Alrighty, I love you all. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.